Show was first staged late last year at the small theatre upstairs at the Royal Court. In 1973, it rapidly became a cult phenomenon. Let's take a look at this insert.
First you go rip, rip, rip. Then you go snip, snip, snip.
When Richard O'Brien's musical The Rocky Horror Show was first staged last night at the small theatre upstairs at the Royal Court in 1973, it rapidly became a cult phenomenon. The B-movie-inspired story of the naive Brad and Janet entering into a world of transvestites, aliens and fishnet stockings went on to become a Broadway production. Then in 1975, the film adaptation The Rocky Horror Picture Show came out, which according to reports has the longest theatrical release in cinematic history and can still be seen on the big screen today. With fans crying out for more, O'Brien then penned a sequel, Shock Treatment, which was released as a film in 1981 and featured many of the same actors and songs of a similar ilk. However, the film, which follows Brad and Janet into a world which doubles as a TV station, failed to get theatrical release and remains little known even to some Rocky Horror fans. Now, over 30 years later, Shock Treatment is going back to Rocky Horror's roots and is being staged as a play for the very first time at the King's Heads Theatre in London with the blessing of writer Richard O'Brien and music composer Richard Hartley. Hartley, who turned out for the show's dress rehearsal, said,
"The film was a bit of a mess, really. But we always thought we had some good songs. And when Benji approached us about putting it on stage, I thought, why not? And it's been completely reimagined by Tom Crowley, and it's become, I think, a show for today."
Benji Spearing is directing the show.
I think the biggest shock is that in the original movie there isn't any shock treatment. They don't really explore that, so we've put that back in. It's going to be really different. I think if they know the original film, they'll see where it's come from and they'll see what the starting block is. But the path that we've taken to adapt it for the stage has been really different.
Spearing pursued O'Brien for nearly 10 years to get the rights to stage the show, and finally the actor and writer relented, but with one specific instruction. The production had to be put in a small venue like Rocky Horror.
Best of the old values. Oh, I don't know.
It was a bit of a mishmash, actually, and I think it shows. And there were too many sort of characters that were rather peripheral, which have been taken out in this production. So basically you get the story, Brad and Janet go to the TV studio, get subsumed into various shows, and all the voices off have gone.
Both the play and the film of Rocky Horror have become interactive experiences with audiences dressing up and interacting with the characters on screen or on stage.
The lovers of Rocky Horror are a very unique breed. They're a fantastic fan base, but we wanted to make sure that the work that we were doing with them, for them, was as personal as Rocky Horror was. So in the entertainment medium and kinky doctors and nurses is the similar world of B-movies and, transvestites.
Spearing has taken into account that the same thing could happen with Shock Treatment.
When I was talking to Richard Hartley and Richard O'Brien, that they wanted something which was up close, that there was no escaping. So we really focused on that, alongside making sure that we were able to explore all of the avenues that we needed, that we could go through the audience, that we could go into the audience, that we could engage with the audience and bring them up onto stage.
The show features West End starlet Julie Atherton as Janet and ex-soap star Mark Little as Farley Flavors, the media magnate who owns the TV show Downtown Denton.
We've got no idea if the audience will get up and get involved, or if they're going to sit back and be passive, or if it's going to be a really active piece. We don't know which way it's going to go. The actors are prepped as much as they can be, and they're aware that they're just having fun. I mean, Richard O'Brien very early on said that let fun be your guide, and that as long as you're having fun, the show will be all right.
I love its integrity, I love its people.
They both have high hopes for the future of the show.
Good, old-fashioned, small-town values to the viewing public.
We want this to turn into a paying job. So we want West End, Broadway, let's kick this off and bring the cult the cult back. Why not?
Yeah.
You know,
It's just a special little show, really. It's
fun.
its own thing. You can't really. There's nothing like it apart from the Rocky Horror Show.
apart from the Rocky Horror Show.
Shock Treatment is running until the 6th June at the King's Head Theatre in Islington, London.